Okay, in this After Effects demo, I'm going to look at importing, layer ordering, trimming and editing, and green screens. So let's start with File, New Project, and we'll do a Save As, and we'll call this. And make sure you are in your folder that you have named, and I'm just going to save over this file. I just clicked on it and that gave me the name. I'm going to call it Masks Import, and I'm just going to save over it, replace. Okay. Now I'm going to, in my resources folder, I'm going to drag the two files I have under here, which are called GreenScreen and Teal Square, and I'm going to drag those over into my project window. And now I want to create a composition. And I'm going to do that. I'm going to drag them down into my timeline, and that should create a composition for me. Make sure you're not dragging it into your render queue, because we don't want that, because that's actually going to render out the project like it's and show us a finished version. So we don't want that. Make sure you're in where it will show none. And if you don't have that, then you can go, you can like right click. You can do new conform selection, or up here you can do composition, new composition. But for now, let's go ahead and look at our files. The teal square is a little bit smaller, 1280 by 720. The green screen is a little bit larger, 1920 by 1080. And I want my composition to be the same size and time-wise, I want it to be the same as this file, the teal square. So I'm going to drag that down here into the timeline, and you'll see that created this composition right here. And to see what the dimensions and the time is for it, we'll look. You can see the timing here, it's over 5 seconds. You can also click on that file, right click, and you'll see composition settings. And so you can see here it's the same size, 1280 by 720, and 5 minutes, 17 seconds. And we'll cancel out. So now we have that established. Now we have our composition, and I don't want the green screen composition, so I'm just going to hit delete on that. But I do want my green screen to be in my teal composition. So here's my teal composition right down here. You can see it. So I'm going to drag that green screen down into that. But you'll see the green screen is not showing. But you can see it's behind it because it is selected, and you can see that it's larger. So now if I drag it in layers down here on the timeline and drag it above the teal square, then now it shows up and we can see it. So now we'll get into trimming and editing. As you can see, I don't want that one in there, but I do want, you can't see it right now, but here, the subscribe button. I want it right as it starts coming into view. Yeah, okay. Now I'm going to try to trim it. And I'm going to cut this. I want this part, I'm going to cut it out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hover my mouse right in between that file right over here and just this board, this extra area. And when you hover your mouse, the selector, and this should be with your selection tool, it should show those two arrows to the left and the right, and you want to click on it and hold it down, click and hold, and then drag. And then you move it over to where our time indicator shows, because that's where I wanted it to start. So now I have that first part cut. I'm going to click and drag on that file, and I'm going to click and drag it to the left. And move it to the very beginning of my timeline right here, the 0. And let's move that time indicator back to the beginning. And it looks like it's showing up okay. All right. Now, I want to go into my effects and presets, and I want to get rid of this green. So, if you don't have your effects and presets showing up, you want to go into Window, and right here it's called Effects and Presets. You'll want that check mark to be showing, so you might have to select it if it's not. And I'm going to type in here, I'm going to type key, and it should show me a bunch of options here. And I'm just clicking, I'm just in this window area, and I'm just kind of scrolling with my scroll button. And I want the Keylight, so I would make sure my GreenScreen file is selected, because that's what I want. And I can either double click or I can drag it onto the file. I'm going to click and drag it onto the file. Now the Keylight shows up. And now I'm going to try to make this GreenScreen green go away. I've been having technical difficulties, so let's see if this works. So let's click on the eyedropper. Then you want to click on the green. And good, it worked this time. And so now the green has gone away. You can go through here and see if it worked. Make sure all that green has disappeared throughout the whole timeline, the whole time area, and it looks okay. And I will call that part 1. And so on the next one, I'm going to go and we'll go and look at some masks and feathering and adding some shapes and adding keyframes. So we'll do that in part 2.